Good evening, I'm Dave Sess.
And I'm Erica Thomas. We've been hearing about basements, yards, and roads being flooded again tonight.
And we sent 27 First News Weekend anchor Matt Horn to Warren looking at some of the problem areas. He joins us live at 1 Street, which is still underwater at this hour. Matt?
Well, good evening. You know, it's not raining here right now up in Warren, but there's still a lot of rain that had caused a lot of flooding in a lot of neighborhoods here in the city. Now, right now we're at the intersection at Nevada Avenue Southwest and Jefferson Street Southwest. And as you can see with the people who are walking through the water right now, you can see just how this water actually is. It looks like it's about up to their knees or so, and this spans for about an entire half block here in one of the neighborhoods on the southwest side of the city. Now, this isn't the only place of the city that's been dealing with the heavy flooding. Earlier, I talked with Warren City officials, and they say earlier this evening, just about every street was flooded in the city. And they also say that they had several different calls for people who were stranded in their cars. A lot of cars had been broken down because they weren't able to make it through the flooded waters. Now, one of the things that they had also told me, the Warren City official had said, make sure that people, they don't need to drive through flooded waters because it will leave them stranded. And also, it could be a very dangerous situation if you were to drive through flooded water. But like I said, since it stopped raining, a lot of the water has started to go down. But that's the latest right now up in Warren. Matt Horn, WKBN 27 First News.
All right, and coming up, more flood pictures from New Wilmington, Niles, and even the north side of Ohio, the northern part of Ohio. We'll get to those in just a minute, but first, we're hoping that this rain stops sometime soon.
Yeah, Paul's been tracking it all on the interactive radar tonight. Let's get an update now to find out where those storms are. Paul?
Yeah, good news. That first batch that moved through this evening now off to the east, but what it's left behind, Matt talked about the flooding. We have lots of flooding across the area, and for good reason. This is heavy rainfall on top of what fell over the weekend, which was extremely heavy rainfall too. Here's a look at the past 48 hours across the area. Most locations getting close to 1 3/4 to 2 inches of rainfall just in the past 48 hours, and just in the past 24 hours, south of Warren along 422, close to 2.5 inches. So very heavy rainfall on already saturated ground across the area, causing the flooding trouble here at home. Now, I do want to point out what we have going on of the latest alerts. There are flash flood watches up for Mercer, Trumbull, or Mercer, Lawrence into Columbiana counties until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Aerial flood warnings for Mahoning and Trumbull counties. That is county-wide until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then dealing with flood warnings. These are creek flood warnings for Eagle Creek until 4:30 Wednesday afternoon at Phalanx Station there south of 422, and then the Mahoning River now under a flood warning in southwestern Trumbull County at Leavittsburg until 8 o'clock Wednesday morning. So all this rain flowing through the streets into the creeks and now into the rivers. So it continues to make its way down, trying to push out of the area. Also, a flash flood warning continues in southern Lawrence County until midnight tonight. So a tremendous amount of watches and warnings in the flood department. Fortunately, no severe thunderstorm warnings right now. That cluster of storms with all the lightning has pushed off to the east. We're getting a little break, just a few little showers across eastern Mercer County and into southern Columbiana County from Wellsville to East Liverpool, but I am tracking more rain and thunderstorms over northwestern Ohio. That has to push through the rest of tonight. So go ahead and keep an eye on that. We'll have future tracker and show you how that moves through coming up here in a few minutes.
Well, one thing we can all say is that this 5 days of rain is really adding up right now.
As Paul mentioned, the ground just so saturated, there's nowhere for that water to go. This is video of the Little Neshannock Creek along Cottage Drive near New Wilmington. You can see the water running rapidly downstream. Nearby yards still have standing water. And earlier this morning, a woman and her 5-year-old boy had to be rescued after the floodwaters trapped them inside their home. Near the Eastwood Mall, a woman's car got stuck in the high water from this afternoon storm. This is near the entrance to the parking lot near David's Bridal. A couple of guys helped push that woman out of the water. Drains covered in debris may have led to that water backup. And the Chuck E. Cheese at the Eastwood Mall complex also got some water inside during the downpour. That restaurant had to close early tonight.
Well, earlier today in Cleveland, take a look at this video. This is Interstate 90 in Lakewood. A section of the highway had to be closed because of the high water. Some of these drivers trying to make it through. By the way, the water receded a little bit. That interstate has reopened in that section. Remember, our meteorologists are with you on air, online, and on the go. Just download the WKBN app. You can find the weather there. You can also get the Storm Team 27 app. They're both free for your iPhone and Android. They offer interactive radar and always a neighborhood forecast, so you're always prepared.